when I first started going on dates, I went on almost like a year and a half of like 2 dates a weekend and never made out with a girl, which is really fucking sad. But I was a virgin at the time. I had no experience. I honestly had a lack of balls. I didn't know how to do the kiss, so I just never did. And then once I started kissing girls, the first girl I kissed I slept with, so I made it a commitment. I will try to kiss the girl every single date, right? And I did that for years. But then in about 2004, I was, if you guys have read the book The Game, I was in the Project Hollywood house at the time. I was relatively respected as someone who was good at game, and at the time I think I'd slept with like 60 girls or something like that in just a few years, so I was doing okay. But I ended up on this date with this incredibly gorgeous Hollywood girl. And I went on the first date with her, and I had this, this thing in my mind. I always go for the kiss on the date. Always go for the kiss on the date. But this girl was just impossible. She was impossible. She was very positive. She was very complimentary. It was a fun conversation. It was good. But she was impossible to kiss because she just wouldn't sit still. Like the entire date, she was just always moving around, always all bubbly, always like I just could not get a moment to kiss her. So I went on the first date, no kiss, and I'm like, fuck, I'm pissed off at myself, whatever. But I got a second date. She came out, went on the whole second date again. Like the whole thing, I'm like, I have to try and kiss this girl. And did not find a single moment when she was calm enough and sedentary enough to be kissed. And so she ended up after the second date driving home, and I was like super pissed at myself. I was like super frustrated. One of the other guys in the house saw that I was frustrated. I was like, what's wrong? What's going on, Zanius? Right? It's an inside joke for anybody who knows that era. And so I told him, and he said, okay, she just left. Call her back. I'm like, what? He's like, call her back. Tell her to come back here. So I got her on the phone. I'm like, hey, come back here. Just say you forgot something. And like, I say, hey, sorry, there's something I forgot. Come back here, right? And so I got her to turn around and drive back. And then I'm like, okay, now what? He said, okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go over to a car, and you're like, you know what? I enjoyed talking today. We talked a lot. We talked too much. And then you're gonna kiss her, right? And so he gave me like some verbal lines that kind of go along with a phase shift, and also the fact that she's in her car, like, and she's sitting there, whatever. So she rolled down her window, I said the whole thing, and we made out. I was like, holy fucking shit, that worked. And of course, the girl never talked to me again after that because it's fucking super weird. Like, it's super weird to call her back to make out with her and then be like, oh, okay, cool, that's all I needed. Like, thanks. Or like, yeah, that's what I forgot. But yeah, it was good. I'll see you later, right? So it was super weird. Maybe it wasn't going to be another date anyway if we hadn't kissed, but it certainly was weird after that. But from that moment on, that was one of the greatest lessons because now I knew how to manufacture a kissing opportunity even when there is none, right? I didn't have to wait for it or look for it or hope for it. I realized you can specifically control the energy, you can specifically control the vibe, you can do specific things to get to the place you want to get to, right? And there's a lot of simpler ways than that. One that I had done before that works pretty well is you could just ask a girl, like, what would you do if I kissed you right now? Right? That I did. I think I saw that in a movie somewhere. I'm like, that's smooth, so then I started using it. I've had guys do like, you're cute, but you're probably a terrible kisser. Stuff like that. So you can verbally bring that stuff up and talk directly about the kiss. I like to not be quite as overt as that, but you do want to change the energy. Number one, go practice. Go talk to girls in real life. Number two, when you do go out, afterwards, I want you to spend a little bit of time thinking through where did things go well, where did they go off the rails, and what would I do next time, right? Each time when I go out and do approaches, obviously an approach can be very long, it'd be hours, right? But in any approach, there's some critical moments. Some moments when like it was make or break, or like you got a really hard shit test, or you were having trouble getting the hook or something like that. After I go out, especially when I was really learning and early on in my game, I would obsess over those moments, right? So I was in college, I'd walk around my campus, I'd do an approach. After the approach, I'd go back, I'd lie down in my dorm, stare up at the ceiling, and I would just keep role-playing it over and over and over again, and I'd be like muttering to myself, right, what I would have said, and then imagining what she would respond, and what I would have said, and she would respond. And I would keep doing that until I had, in my mind, written a movie script that believably I thought could work next time, Does that make sense? And that was kind of my standard. That like I had an idea of if this situation or something analogous comes up, this is what I'm going to do. This is at the top of my intelligence how I think she'd react, and this is my game plan for next time. And so my idea was to just not make the same mistake twice, right? And because I'm doing it out of field and doing it in this, again, movie script writing in my head kind of way, I have the ability to come up with creative things and the ability to try something outrageous and play it out in my head and see if it makes sense. Right? Was that too much? Would that work? Etc. And so, in a way, each of my reps becomes dozens of reps, if that makes sense. Right? You're going over it over and over again. Change this variable. What would you do? Change this variable. What would you do? So I'm thinking a bit deeply about it, but in a way where there's no consequences. I can be incredibly creative, and I can try crazy stuff. I was around a lot of other guys who were going out learning this stuff, and at that time, the style of game was very scripted. It was like we were almost trying to create these like comedy routines and whatnot. And so we were saying, oh, would this be a better line than this line? Or in my story, would this be a better joke, or would this be a better tease? Right? Or I had literally a notebook that like labeled negs. It was just like line after line, page after page after page after page of teasing things I could say to a girl. And then if I heard anything that like I thought was funny, I hear something in a movie, oh, that'd be a good neg, I'd write it down in my book. Right? And so I was just actively, my brain was tuned on for this kind of thing. Does that make sense? So that's what I did personally. You don't have to be as obsessive as I was. That was a lot. Unfortunately, you can steal a lot, you can borrow a lot from what's already worked. The other great way to have good lines is just borrow. Like steal my lines, and then also modify my lines. Or modify, so if you have a friend who's good at game or someone else, whatever. Take lines you know work, ask yourself, why does it work? And then can I come up with 3 other lines that work for the same reason? And that thought exercise, number 1, you have 3 more lines to try. But number 2, you've practiced coming up with them, and then in field you come up with them a little bit faster.